Madam Speaker, nowadays in Japan, so serious crisis occur. Why? Just because this cause is absolutely only the nuclear power plant. But what happened in the status quo? Not only is Japan, for the many countries, Korea or China, also get damaging. If the Europe, this kind of situation occur, actually many countries get damaging. This is not this country's problem. We have to, all the countries have to try to solve this problem, because there are actual possibility to get this serious situation. That's the reason why we have to take this proposal. First, I'd like to define the notion. This proposal, of course, will be taken by country which introduce our nuclear power plant, which have nuclear power plant. And also, we gradually stop shifting. Actually, we need time to shift. Gradually, for 20 years or 30 years, gradually, we stop, these countries stop individual nuclear power plant one by one. This is a clear definition based on this type. Okay, then let's move to our point. Then we have 3 points here. First point is why all worldwide ban is justifiable. Why they don't want to harm? They want to harm. We have to stop this kind of nuclear power plant. Second point is how this proposal actually cuts the risk to get the radioactive contamination. Third point will my partner explain to you. Then let's move to my first point. First point, why justify this our proposal? Fundamentally, actually individual country have sovereignty right. Actually we can ask first the other country's action, other country law or the situation. Because actually this country have a right to care, own nation, own society. But actually we can sometimes this country have to compromise the situation. This case is the possibility to harm for the other country. For example, environmental problem. Actually, environmental problem is all shared by all of the country. Actually, one country, even though one country cannot, even though one country take action selfishly, actually this affects have effect on for all of the country, other country. For example, water pollution or global warming. Even though this country don't care about this problem because there are no harm for the own country, however, this absolutely connected to other countries through the air, through the water, and also they directly damage other countries' industry or people, ladies and gentlemen. And also Kyoto Protocol, these kind of institutions actually prescribe the rule of the worldwide. Actually, all of the countries have duty to save, duty to keep this kind of law. Even if this country don't have risk to get harmed, this risk is so few. Actually, there are rules. Absolutely, this case applies to today's case. Nuclear power plant. What is nuclear power plant? Actually, there are possibility to get the radioactive contamination through the air, through the water. Actually, this is not only this country's problem. This affects other countries' people, ladies and gentlemen. So that is why we have to set up the rule for the worldwide, and also we have to treat this problem. Okay, so let's move to my yes, sir.
So can you give me a recent example of a country's radioactivity leak that caused the death of another country's citizen?
Actually, Chernobyl's case in the Russia, this situation occurred. Also, this affects all the European condition of the people. So that is the reason why actually there are possibility to harm other country. That is why we have to justify this case. Then let's move to my second point. Practically, what happened under the status quo. Status quo, actually there are nuclear power plants in many countries, and also, but this is a serious situation because there are actual possibility to get the serious situation. We have 3 reasons. First is human error. Actually, communication. We have to secure the nuclear power plant as a humanitarian power. Actually, through this kind of control, actually there possibility to get communication miss. And also in the, for example, small snow model case, actually in the United States, actually there, because of the communication miss, actually these snow models accident happen, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, actually personal computer or these kind of things actually secure the nuclear power plant. But these things is not perfect, absolute, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, if the virus come to the personal computer, actually we cannot control their system or the nuclear power plant. This is also serious situation. Third, actually natural disaster. We cannot expect natural disaster. Even though actually the near plate, this country actually there are high possibility to get the natural disaster. And also, however, not only this, actually Europe, actually sometimes big earthquake or natural disaster occur every day, sometimes. So also, as long as unexpected matter, actually sometimes this affect on the nuclear power plant. Sometimes nuclear power plant break, as like Japanese case. So that is why under the status quo is so serious. What happens if the break the nuclear power plant? There are absolutely radioactive contamination. What happens? If people get the radioactivity over capacity, actually this person die out. Especially children, capacity is so low because their immunity is so low. So even though they're so pure, they get this pure radioactivity, actually disconnect to their life, connect to their so serious diseases, cancer or something like that. What we said, even though this person don't get the radioactive contaminations harm, but if when they bear the baby, actually sometimes baby harm radioactive contaminations are affect, and also sometimes they likely to die out or likely to get cancer, ladies and gentlemen. This is so serious under the status quo. And also, as a Chernobyl case, actually 3,000 people died out, directly died out by the radioactive contamination, ladies and gentlemen. And also, these are affected, as I said before, the worldwide situation. If once Europe, in the European country, France have actually many nuclear power plants, if this kind of area actually accident occur, many people also, not only the France people, but also all of the European people get suffering damage, as I said before. This is so serious situation. And also after taking this proposal, what happened? We can shift. Actually we can shift. There's no possibility to get radioactive contamination. Why? Just because actually no nuclear power plant. This is a clear case. After taking this proposal, this is absolutely beneficial for the people because no possibility, as I said before. Why is this important? Actually, all the countries have a risk, and also all the countries know nuclear power plant sometimes makes a crisis. And also, if we know the way, actually we have to treat this way because this is the only way we cannot solve other way this problem. In order to save the worldwide peace, we are going to propose. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hello, ladies and gentlemen in this house today. The nuclear power plant, no, we don't deny all the possibility that it can be the danger, but we strongly believe that the possibility is too low. Rather, this nuclear power plant is just making the electricity every day, and that is the basis of our life every day. And if we ban this kind of thing, then our life would whole be destroyed and chaotic, and that is more harmful, we strongly believe, than this the rare situation that the government talks about, and that is why we're proud to oppose this motion today. We have today three arguments to support our position of this motion. The first argument is after the plan, the electricity supply would decrease, and that would just lead to the high living costs or the suffering of the people. And the second point is after the plan, the environment would just destroyed by the using of the oil or coal or this kind of thing. And my honorable partner will explain the third point, which is about it is bad for the international politics. But before moving on to the first point, let me rebut what the previous speaker has said. Their argument was wholly based on the fact that based on the thing that the nuclear power plant is so dangerous or this kind of thing. But we strongly believe that they are just exaggerating the possibility that this kind of thing happens, it's very small. Why? Because first of all, they gave us as the reason that the accident happens is that human error or personal computer's error or this kind of thing. But ladies and gentlemen, the people in this kind of nuclear power plant is also just predicting this kind of thing. That is why they are having many levels of prevention. Like if there are many kind of many level of human checking and many level of personal computer checking. And if one person makes a mistake, then the next person would realize and then stop it. Even if there was one mistake of the personal computer, then the next level of the personal computer would just kick out. That is why it is so unlikely that the accident would happen from this kind of thing. And moreover, they mentioned about the natural disaster like the earthquake in the Tohoku area in this case or this kind of thing. But we strongly believe that first it is so rare, and even if it happens, but we strongly believe that this cannot lead to so many accidents. Why? Because the people can learn from the previous natural disaster and see that it is bad to just make the nuclear power plant near the sea course that the tsunami would come or this kind of thing. Then they just can't prevent this kind of thing with just making it in the other place or just making the wall that prevents tsunami or this kind of thing. That is why it is so rare that what they said is happening. And moreover, they said that if those kind of accident happens, the people would just suddenly die or this kind of thing. But that is not true. Why? Because as in the case of Tohoku area, the government would just immediately make people get out of those kind of places where it is dangerous or this kind of thing. That is why it is so unlikely that even if accidents happen, the people would get so much harm. That is why we're proud that the argument does not stand. Okay, now having that said, now I want to move on to the first issue, which is about after the plant, the electricity supply would go down. That would make the people suffer. Under status quo, the electricity is enough supplied in all the countries. Why? Because under status quo, nuclear power plant is allowed to make electricity, and in many countries, this nuclear power plant is occupying the large share of the electricity. Why? Because this is the nuclear power plant is a very good way, the very effective way to make the electricity. Why? There are two reasons. The first reason is that it is sustainable. It is not dependent on oil or this natural resources. That means that forever they can just make the electricity from this kind of natural resource from this kind of nuclear power plant. That is why many countries are just adopting. And the second reason is that it is effective. It is in the nuclear power plant you can get a great electricity from the small power. That means that it is different from the system like the solar system, which needs great solar power to just bear the small electricity. From these two reasons, it is very effective, and that is why, for example, in France, the 75% of the share of the electricity is a nuclear power plant. That is why, and from this electricity, the transportation in the city is running, or the factory in the cities are running, and this that is allowing people the work to eat or just live the normal life. That is why under status quo, electricity is enough supply. Well, what would happen after that? The electricity supply would go down, and the people would just get chaotic situation and suffer. Why? Because the nuclear power plant would get stopped, and in that case, the large part, more than the 50% of the electricity, in the extreme case, the more than 50% of the electricity would disappear, and that means that there will be the great electricity lack. And even if you do in the long span, this cannot compensate the nuclear power plant electricity. Why? Because if you use the oil for instead, then you would just wear out this kind of oil in the long term. And then if you use the natural resources like natural gas or this kind of thing, then it is ineffective, and ineffective to just bear the great amount of electricity. That is why many transportation or many factory would just stop, and moreover, because the electricity supply would go down. That means that the transportation or factory that is using the electricity would just rise their cost. That means that no thank you. The people who use it or the people who just buy from some kind of product from this factory would just suffer from the cost rise. They will be just laid off by the just factory, but their cost of living would just rise. That is why the people in the nation, especially the poor people, would suffer very much after the plan. That is why, in this case, we strongly believe that this is a great harm, and this is very important because it is a normal life of people, not the rare case, but it will happen constantly. That is why we're proud to oppose. Having that said, now I want to move on to the second point. Under the status quo, there will be organic change in the environment, and the people are stopping to use oil or those kind of thing, and the CO2 is decreasing in terms of the electricity producing. But what would happen after that? There will be the great lack, and people will think that we have to compensate this lack of electricity, and they would just return to oil or thermal power, just generation of electricity, and there will be more CO2 emitted in the air, and that would lead to the more destruction of the environment. And this point is very important because environment would also just concerned with the people's normal life. That is why we're proud to oppose.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen in the South today. We don't just say we should take this proposal just because Japan had the nuclear accident. We say it is very dangerous. Because it is dangerous, we should prevent those accidents from happening right now. This is a time to change a situation of each nation relying on the power of the nuclear power plant. This is why we strongly believe that today's proposal is necessary, even though the possibility is very, very rare. Rare means that we cannot deny the possibility to happen. We strongly believe that if we really consider about the destruction we face today, we have to abolish and ban and stop relying on the nuclear power plant. We say that the accident of the nuclear power plant is no longer unrealistic. We say that the optimistic stance is very dangerous. We should take this proposal. First of all, I'd like to have a look at the arguments of the opposition side. First of all, she mentioned it's rare, so there is no problem at all. There are some reasons. But because there are several checking systems or human error or to prevent the human error or computer error, etc., etc. We say that it may be true, it may be almost perfect. But first of all, we say almost perfect means that we cannot deny the small possibility to have a nuclear accident, like the case of Chernobyl. Even though many people believe that there is a rare possibility to have those kind of significant damages. We actually have those kind of problems. We say that to prevent to avoid those situations from happening 100% is necessary today, because time has changed. We know that the nuclear power plant can no longer endure a natural disaster or severe earthquake, etc. Second of all, she also mentioned natural disaster is also rare, and there are some statement that even though we don't take this proposal, we can evacuate, let the people evacuate from the Fukushima, Genbatsu, etc. There is no problem or so forth. But they really don't understand the problem, what is happening in the Fukushima prefecture or Tohoku region. The rumor kills the economy of the Tohoku area, or the agriculture is destroyed because of the rumor that the official, the lives of the officials are destroyed because of the radiation, or because of the rumor. The farmers' lives are also destroyed because of the radiation or rumor. We strongly believe that one action can destroy the one region or one nation. Moreover, several nations. This is why we say that even though the natural disaster is rare, once we have those problems, it is very significant. Second of all, other argument she mentioned, if we take this proposal, the development of the economy would happen, and it is very significant. She also mentioned the uniqueness of nuclear power plant. Like it doesn't require resources like oil, etc., and it is very powerful. There is no alternatives or so forth. On the first point, no resource. We say that there is not so significant problem the lack of the resource. For example, currently we can use the LNG for the fire power plant, and it is very workable. Moreover, we say that even though it is that oil is about to disappear, we still can use the fire power plant, and moreover, we say that we can develop the other natural power plant. For example, like the solar power plant or other wind, the power of the wind, etc. So we say that those kind of power plants can be the alternatives for the nuclear power plants. No, thank you. So second of all, we also say that even though now we have no alternatives, because we put the times to shift to the another alternative power plant, we can say it is enough to shift to the other plants. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to worry about so much about the lack of a nuclear power plant. We don't think that it is so significant problem. Moreover, we say that even in the current society of Japan, we are now saving the electricity by cooperating with the corporations or individuals. We can cut the usage of electricity from 100% to 75% currently. So it is not so unrealistic way to avoid the lack of electricity. Having said, I'd like to explain my argument. My argument is about the pressure of the people living near NPP. It is maybe so small argument, but it is also very important argument for when we really think about a real situation of Japan. We already noticed that nuclear accident is unrealistic. We also we've already noticed the nuclear accident is realistic, and we see the destruction of the nuclear power plant is very terrible. For example, like the case of farmers, or like the case of the agricultural person, or like the case of the fishers, those kind of economics are destroyed because of radiation. Because we cannot import anything to the other nations, because the many countries think that Japanese products is very dangerous to eat. Because of even the people in the Fukushima prefecture don't eat those kind of products because they think that it is very dangerous. We say that even though they are not so dangerous, the rumor kills the economies. Because many people think that products from the Tohoku area is very dangerous. No one would like to actively eat or buy those kind of products. So we strongly believe that because of the destruction or accident of the nuclear power plant, those kind of situations will happen. What I would like to say is that no one wants a nuclear power plant, and moreover, the people near the nuclear power plant also don't want to see the nuclear power plant anymore, because they also notice that accident will happen, and accident kills many people. For example, They also can imagine how terrible when the nuclear accident happens. They cannot sleep well. They cannot endure those kind of lives. The pressure for the people near the nuclear power plant is very significant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that people, you must not force people to sacrifice their lives. We should take this proposal and save the lives of the people near the nuclear power plant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judge. Okay, today on the government side, they have actually claimed, actually accused us of being too optimistic about the use of nuclear power plants. However, we believe that the ones who have been optimistic about the entire situation is the government side. In what sense? We believe that we are the opposite side. This is the side who actually look at the entire economic situation and the real reality of why people actually use nuclear power plants despite why it's so difficult. And they actually did not actually deal with why people still want to use, which I'm going to talk about later. And then the other things, like we believe that they actually dismissed my partner's point about the economy, about how the cost of living will actually increase, and they did not even refute to that point. And we believe that point is one of the strongest points, and still stand in this debate. And before I move on to my third point about why it's about international part, about how actually taking this proposal will actually give more power to resource-rich countries. Okay, and then before that, I'd like to first rebut to 2 points. First, to my previous speaker about his point about how having nuclear power plants is bad for the people living around the nuclear power plants. First, well, he says that first he has 2 claims. First is like people actually live near nuclear power plants, they'll be so anxious and they'll be sad, and then they cannot sleep because there's a nuclear power plant beside you. However, ladies and gentlemen, despite it doesn't matter where you live, there's always the dangers of something exploding or something causing your death. Even if you live right next to a fire power plant, if it's actually go explode, your house will get burned and you still die. So we don't see why these two, why it's still going to cause the life of people. So we don't see why nuclear power is so significantly different from the other power plants, which also might cause dangers. And then secondly, he talks about how nuclear power plant is going to be away. And the sub point of this is like he actually said how the rumor is going to kill the economy. However, ladies and gentlemen, nuclear power damage is because nuclear energy actually has half-life. It actually decreases over time, and then after a while, the economy of that region still can recover after several years. And we believe that that is not going to have a significant impact, even if rumors of the media actually kills the economy initially. However, we believe that if more people actually go there and actually see what it's going to be like, they can spread the good side of the news, how the economy actually is recovering. And we don't believe that is not actually an important point.
But some industries or some people will die before they are recovered.
We believe that they can still move on to find other sort of jobs, and we believe that during these kind of disasters, governments should also have the ability and they also have the responsibility to help those people find re-employment in other regions or other places. So we don't believe that is actually significant up to this point. And then the second refutation, it's more like an add-on to my partner's point about whether or not this is actually whether or not this is nuclear power plant is risky or not. My partner already explained that because we have all these security, all these levels of checking the system, we believe that nuclear power plants is safe on its own. Even if actually something happened, we believe that that is not due to because we have nuclear power plant. It's because we don't have a lot of nuclear power plants. We believe that if we actually spend more energy, spend more time and resources into investing in nuclear power plants, we can make nuclear energy much more safer. For example, the nuclear power plant in the Tohoku region is actually quite old, if you actually notice. And then how there's also comments about, because of the style and how the nuclear power plant is right now, and the design, because of this outdated design, it caused the tsunami to come in, and caused because the batteries placed the backup batteries are placed right inside the facility, and that's why the entire thing goes down. It's because the design is old and needs to be updated. We believe that we should spend more energy and spend more resources into these kind of nuclear power plants to actually make it better, to make it safer, rather than just to say abruptly ban on entire nuclear energy and then leave to other economic disasters, and also political disasters, which I'm going to talk about in my next point. Okay, lastly, I'd like to talk about my point about how it's going to be how taking this point is going to make the resource poor countries more vulnerable in the international stage. Before that, I'll take the point.
But actually, natural disaster is absolutely unexpected. We cannot imagine how much magnitude, how much earthquake occur after in the future. So that is the reason why we cannot prevent this serious situation absolutely.
Yes, but then that is actually a good point. But the thing, I'm going to talk to my point right now about why people still use nuclear power plant despite they know it's dangerous, despite all those unexpected natural disasters. Okay, firstly, I'd like to ask one simple question. Why do countries still use nuclear power plant, even if they know it's so dangerous, even though it's going to cause like severe environmental disasters? Because I believe there are actually two main reasons. First, my part already explained, firstly, about how it's going to have an economic effect. And then about like how if you over-reliance on like carbon fuels, on petroleum, during events like oil shock, or during events like where nuclear, like those energies from probably like Middle East, it's going to cause great changes in the price of fuel, and cost, which also leads to the cost of production and the cost of living. And that we believe the country wants to hedge itself, make itself less vulnerable to all those kind of resources and energies, and thus they will actually take alternatives to invest in nuclear power, which may be proved to be more stable than other sources of energy. And secondly, I'd like to talk. And secondly, this is one of my point about it's because countries lack those kind of energy resources, and that's why they use nuclear power. Can you imagine an Arabic country developing nuclear power when they're actually rich in oil? No, I don't believe that would be the case. It's because, for example, Japan, an island country, which doesn't have those kind of energy, petroleum energy, that's why they actually want to be more politically independent from other countries, and thus that's why they actually invest in nuclear power, and then to make themselves less prone to events in the Middle East. And then what will happen if we actually take this proposal? Our side believe it's going to have a power shift from those resource poor countries to the resource rich countries. In a sense, if we ban the nuclear power, we're going to use more like all those oil, petroleum, which means we're actually giving a lot of political power to those Arab countries. For instance, especially in international forum, whenever come to another agree on treaty, when agree on other sort of events or things, we believe that these resource poor countries will be at a disadvantage in the sense that if they don't agree with those oil-rich countries, they're going to the oil-rich countries might say, oh, if you don't agree with us, we're going to cut off your oil, and thus actually give them a much more monopoly on energy, and also much more monopoly on the international stage of power. We believe that energy for the modern society is very important, and we believe that we should let countries choose their own sort of energy to develop to suit their best economic needs. And furthermore, we don't believe that having this kind of proposal, imposing on all countries, and restricting them from developing their own energy, we don't believe that is actually going to be good for the country. We believe that this proposal should fall eventually. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and hello, ladies and gentlemen, again in this House today. We have today two criteria to summarize this round. The first criterion is about which is better to take a stand or not for the people's life in terms of economy. And the second clash is about which we should prioritize the safety or the effectiveness of the energy. But okay, that is the two clash point. And having said that, I want to move on to the first one about which is better for the people's life in terms of economy. What the government side has said about this point is that if the nuclear power plants explode, then there will be the killing of the economy by the rumor or this kind of thing. But first of all, as my partner has clearly told you, the government is supporting this kind of people in that area in terms of economy, and that cannot be a great loss of the economy in this kind of area. And moreover, we strongly believe that the impact of this argument is very small because it is a temporary effect. Because it might last for 1 year or this kind of thing, but it will stop in that term. But on the other hand, we clearly told you that if we take this notion, there will be the constant suffer of people in terms of economy. Why? Because as we have clearly told you, the nuclear power plant is a uniquely sustainable and effective energy resource. And if you abolish that kind of thing, you cannot compensate it with just the oil or just thermal energy or the natural gas or this kind of thing. It's not enough. That is why we clearly told you that if we take this notion, the living cost would rise. First of all, the manufacturing or transportation cannot just stick to their job, and then many people would be laid off. And moreover, the living cost, because the price of the electricity would rise, their living cost would also rise. And the people would economically suffer in a constant way. That is why we strongly believe that in this point, our argument is far more important than the government side. Now, having that said, now I want to move on to the second issue, which is more important than the safety or the energy. What they said is that they agree that the accident of this kind of nuclear power plant is rare. They also agree about this point, but we have clearly showed you that why it is rare. But what they said is that even if it is rare, we have to just avoid this kind of safety. But the important point is, as my partner has clearly pointed out, those kind of safety is not, those kind of danger is not unique to the nuclear power plant, like the thermal energy or this kind of thing. That is why it cannot be the reason to abolish only the nuclear power plants, which is so effective. Now, even if we admit that it is a unique danger, we strongly believe that it is far more beneficial for people to even recognize this kind of danger to just continue stick to this kind of nuclear power plant. Why? Because first of all, as I have clearly told you, if we abolish, there will be the economical great loss because there will be that will last all the time, and there will be no governmental support for those kind of people who are suffering from this kind of economical disaster. And moreover, as my partner has clearly told you, if we take this notion, there will be the collapse of the international politics, because for the countries without natural resources, they have to just they just have to be over dependent on the countries of the country full of resources, and that would lead to the unfair politics of the international area. That is why we strongly believe that it is far more beneficial for people to just stick to the status quo. That is why we're proud.
Madam Speaker, we continuously say we cannot ignore possibility to harm, and also once this accident happens, please look at the reality. Actually, in Japan, today, actually continuously many people have to push into the collective house, and also so serious situation, ladies and gentlemen. In the Chernobyl, actually because of inheritance, many people now actually were suffering this situation. We know the fact in this situation. We have to attack worldwide in this serious situation. On that basis, I like to propose today. First, I'd like to give out the point. They said before that we depend on our big country, and also these are connected to the political power balance or something like that. But we don't think so. First, we don't depend on this kind of situation. But on the first level, as a partner creator told you that, or we can develop the solar power wind power, which is natural power in all of the area. Not only the Arabic country, but also all the countries have this kind of power. And also, actually nowadays, bioenergy is so popular, and also thanks to the corn, actually all the countries can get electricity, ladies and gentlemen. And same as this, all the countries don't care about the Arabic country oil situation. That is why their argument doesn't stand. More we say, even though there sometimes lack of electricity, we can save the electricity. We can minimize the harm this situation. In Japan, actually in Japan, even though sometimes lack, however, thanks to the saving, actually we can minimize the harm of the economy. That is the reason why their argument totally doesn't stand. So let's move to my compare. First is justification. Second point is practically. Actually, whether safety or economy or electricity is important. First point, as I said before, that today's case is absolutely enough justification. Today's negative side never engage this point. Actually, once one country this serious situation occur, this affect on the whole society, another country, ladies and gentlemen. Please look at this serious situation. Actually, we have justification to solve this problem. Okay, then let's move to my second practically. Today's negative side says that this is our nuclear power plant important to keep electricity sustainability or effectively or something like that. But we don't think so. Actually, as I said before, that there are many alternative ways. Actually, we don't immediately shift. Actually, we have a shift time. Actually, we can gradually supply their electricity. And also, more we said, actually, Japan don't have natural energy. However, let me look at Japan. Japan depend on only 30% electricity. As the same reason, actually, even though they are developed country, actually they don't need the electricity without any kind of natural resources problem. So that is why we can say this is not serious at all. And also we can minimize this kind of situation by saving the electricity also. On the other hand, we clearly told us that safety is important. Let me look at the history. Actually, Tokai Island's case, Snowman's case, Chernobyl case, Fukushima Prefecture's case. Again and again, this kind of situation happen. Many people suffering this situation. And also, many people die out because of radioactive contamination. Why should we take this proposal? This proposal is absolutely the only way. Actually, we can expect clear harm in the future. That is why, in order to save not only this country's people, but also worldwide, all of the country, we proudly beg to propose that. Thank you.